So, hello student. So, today we will start next module, module 12, and this module is specially I had designed to talk about special waste. See, until now we had discussed about collection, treatment, management issues regarding dry waste, wet waste, okay. But still we have not talked about some special kind of waste which is getting generated in the municipal area, like construction and demolition waste. That is also huge amount of amount is getting produced, and you know our urbanization is increasing. So, obviously, this construction work and even demolition work also is very high. So this kind of inert material also is getting generated in the very high amount, as well as we have to also talk about e-waste, because this e-waste also is getting generated from the house to house or from the commercial areas, and this is also from the municipal area. But I think this CND and CND e-waste and also the biomedical waste, this is also the very huge quantity is getting produced, and also the inert waste, the street sweeping waste, this is also one of the important quantity is getting generated. But when you see our solid waste management rule 2016 or even the earlier rules also, this rules is only for the municipal waste, and municipal waste do not consider the CND waste, even e-waste, biomedical waste, and for that there are special rules are available for CND construction demolition waste, that is also in 2016 the special rules are available. E-waste, India was the first country who has come up with the e-waste management rule in 2011, also has been modified in 2016. Also the biomedical, we have biomedical way rule also is there, and there are and especially for hazardous waste also special rules is available. So, what I thought of, because these kind of waste like specially construction demolition waste, e-waste, biomedical waste and street sweeping waste, this is also coming under the municipal waste. Although the management rules are different for that, and even the treatment also is different, but this course is specially for the municipal solid waste, okay, that is specially for dry waste and wet waste, which we have discussed up to the module 11. So, I thought of, rather than giving the entire the collection disposal things of these kind of waste, special waste, but also I thought of why not we'll know the water, how these waste is getting produced, or how much quantity is getting generated, and what exactly the treatment or disposal is given in the rule, and what exactly our country are working for the CND waste, e-waste or biomedical waste or inert waste. So, we will start with the first waste, that is construction and demolition waste. Okay. In this lecture we will talk about only the construction and demolition waste, and the next lecture we will talk on e-waste, biomedical waste and inert waste. Okay. When you talk about construction and demolition waste, so as per the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, how it has been defined, like first the construction, the process of buildings, building or other any civil structure or infrastructure. In that case also the construction waste, this is the construction one. The demolition waste could be from breaking down or breaking out of the building, and mostly these buildings are demolished by some exposure, by putting some exposure, and this entire building is getting demolished. And the other one is the deconstruction. So, deconstruction is different from the demolition. See, deconstruction means is a planned demolition. So, properly, or this demolition also could be possible to extension of the building, okay. So, and this is properly planned, and the whatever the demolition structure, the even waste amount also will be as low as possible in the while in the deconstruction process. And another is the finally the C&D waste will come up, like that will be a building material, what the debris are using in the construction, the repairing while in the repairing, or finally entire the demolition of any civil structure. But here the important is that the key difference of the demolition and deconstruction is that the deconstruction lead to less wastage and higher environmental sustainability. So, is a properly designed demolitions, okay. But in India, I think both kind of waste is normally is getting produced or generated, even deconstruction also and demolition also. But this is properly defined by the ministry for the generation of the waste. Now, what is the Indian scenario of C&D waste? So, as per now around 25 to 30 million tons per year C&D waste is getting generated, and this quantity is very large quantity is getting produced. So, if you compare with our MSW waste, this goes to a 65 to 70 million tons per year. So, this is also almost half of the MSW is producing C&D waste. And why the quantity is very high also, because it is a construction material, okay. So, obviously the weight is very high in this case, and do not have moisture also, without moisture also the weight is very high. Why? Because the specific weight also is very high in this of this waste. So, here also if you see the maximum amount of waste is generated around 500 units of demolition waste only, okay. And also the structure with the partial demolition or some masonry or concreting work, through that is this waste is getting produced, and a small amount by the minor repair, construction repairing is getting produced, but the major is the demolition waste. And the problem is that the C&D waste increase in the rapid urbanization and boom in the construction industry. That is that, and this urbanization is just I think started in India from last 15 to 20 years, and it believes that maybe by 2030 or almost 60, more than 60% population will be in the urban area. So, obviously will be required lot of constructions. So, more construction means more amount of construction demolition waste will get produced or will get generated. And because these waste I will not say exactly we can call as an waste, because it is a construction material. So, we can easily recycle these kind of waste, and also can be same waste can be useful for the another construction facility, for road construction, even for the building construction itself, or maybe we can make some kind of brick out of that, and this fired brick could be useful for the new construction, for the new construction also can be useful. But the problem is that proper collection and proper storage is very important for the C&D waste. So, what all are involved here? So, the first is the major components and minor components, like major components are brick, cement plaster, steel, or maybe stone, granite and wood or timbers. This is the major components in the C&D waste, and few minor components like conduits, like iron could be possible, the pipes, electrical materials, the panels or even glass panels could be possible, but I think this is the minor component, but major are these are the major one. Okay. Now, understanding the problem is very important. First need to understand why the C&D waste is becoming a major issue in our urban areas. Why you see here, you can see some photographs. The C&D waste stored outside the construction site. I think you visit any construction area anywhere in your own city, you will see the normally these construction and demolition waste stored outside your construction site and along the roadsides are the major problem is a traffic congestion, and this is a major problem. Even it will close the drains many times, you will see here, and a problem that these kind of waste, if you dispose into the disposal site also proper, wherever the even sanitary landfill also if you dispose, it will take huge amount of area, and even the transportation also is very difficult in such kind of waste. So, is another, and the problem is that suppose if you are not storing near your construction site, or and normally if you see that once the entire construction will get over, the many time we will see that these kind of waste will stored near to those construction facility, until unless the local authorities or that construction company do not require to clear that particular area, and mostly that this area is getting cleared, and this entire waste is getting disposed into the either nearby bin, and there also is very difficult to collect by the collection vehicle, which normally collect the dry and wet waste, because this concentration is very high, very highly heavy materials, and even the size also is sometimes very big, which can't be easily stored into the dustbin also. So, this becomes a major issue now in most of the urban cities, and also the many times it will clog the drains, and you know that because of that urban flooding, and every time you see in the monsoon time, or most of the cities have is in the flooding condition. Even Mumbai, Delhi, these are the major cities. Even we have seen the Chennai also, once upon time it was completely flooded, and this flooding is major because is not that these cities do not have the proper sewerage networks or storm water collection facility. So, I think some of the cities like Mumbai is one of the oldest city, we have the storm water or sewerage collection facility or sewer network, but the problem is that these drains are getting clogged, and this clogged is not only because of plastic what we are disposing, and but also these construction demolition also will get clogged these kind of drains. So, now the issue is that you have to properly collect it and get it disposed or get it recycled properly. So, who all are involved? So, if you talk about the major stakeholders, the first is the waste generator. So, waste generator could be any person or association of persons or institutions or even residential area, commercial establishment like railway, airport, defense establishments, these are all the waste generators. They are the major stakeholders of this C&D waste generation. Next is the service provider. So, service provider the water supply, sewer network, electrical, telephone, road, drainage, these facilities means I think those authorities which will provide the services, those are the stakeholders. And others is local authority. So, local authority could be your municipal corporations, this is the major stakeholders, or the municipal for class 1 cities, or even Nagar Palika for class 2 cities, Panchayat is for rural areas. And because why these become a major stakeholders here, because this authority has to come up with particular bylaw, particular rule. Although we have the C&D waste rule is available with us, but to have those rules in that particular city, the local authority has to come up with their particular facilities. Like if they are asking to store or collect this C&D waste, so they have to provide one particular facility. And somebody, suppose some kabadi wala is able to collect that particular waste, so you have to provide one particular facility for that. So, that is the major task for the or major stakeholders in the C&D waste. Now, if you talk one by one, waste generator, their responsibility of waste generator. If you talk about construction demolition waste management rule 2016, in class 4, the responsibilities are given for the waste generator for the collection of C&D waste, segregation of C&D waste, and even the storage also the responsibility is given. And normally these waste generators normally is generated around more than 200 tons per day or 300 tons per project. Okay. And what is their other responsibility, like segregate the waste into a 4 stream such as concrete, soil, steel, wood and plastic, brick and mortars. Likewise, the 4 stream, they have to segregate the waste, submit the waste management plan, get appropriate approval from the local authority before starting construction or demolition or remolding work. And this waste generator could be some construction industry, one particular private company could be a waste generator, even the one particular household, whether they can ask one other authority to segregate the waste and also particular storage also they have to, the local authority should provide to those particular household people. And also the one special responsibility is given for that, waste keep waste within the premises or get deposited at collection center made by the local body, hand over to the authority processing facility, ensure no littering or deposition to prevent obstruction to the traffic or public or drain. This is also one important point or important responsibility is given to the waste generator. So, while transportation of such waste, the littering of that waste should not be there onto the road. And also you have to pay relevant charges, I think based on the whatever charges is applied or asked by the local authorities. And the generators of more than 20 tons per day or more than 300 tons per project to pay for the processing and disposal apart from storage, collection and transportation. So, this is only the payment normally is for 20 tons per day or 300 tons per project. So, mostly in this case the big construction industry is only involved. So, obviously, because they have to dispose the waste, so they have to pay some charges also, and the rate fixed by the concerned the local authority and any other authority designated by the state government. So, no mixing. This is the special guideline is given for the waste generator. The waste should not be get mixed with the MSW. Now, the next is the service provider or their contractor in class 5 had been asked to prepare within 6 months from the date of notification or comprehensive waste management plan covering segregation, storage, collection, reuse, recycling, transportation and disposal of construction demolition waste generated within their jurisdiction. So, within prepare in the 6 month the plan has to be come up from the service providers, and also had been asked that remove all construction demolition waste and clean the area every day. Suppose if it is not possible by the service providers, so what they can do? They can tie up with the authority agency for removal of construction demolition waste and pay the relevant charges. Suppose they are not able to come up with particular plan and they can't provide one particular facilities, so they can tie up with the another authority and they can pay the whatever the charges, relevant charges for those facilities. Now, the next is local authority. This is the another stakeholders and the responsibility is given in class 6. Had been asked that issues detailed directions and seek detailed plan or undertaking with regards to a proper management of construction demolition waste within their jurisdiction. Chalk out stages, methodology, equipment, material and final cleanup after completion of C&D waste, and they can take the assistance from the concerned authority and make arrangement and place the appropriate containers for the collection of waste, shall remove at regular intervals or when they are filled and either through own resources or by appropriate appointing private operators. So, they have to arrange the particular containers also in such facilities, or other they can appoint one private contractor and this private contractor will collect the waste and properly dispose the waste. And also the transport of that particular waste, particular incentive to the generator for processing and recycling in situ. So, they can also ask that one the construction company if you are able to reuse, the proper incentive also to give it to them. Examine and sanction the waste management plan for the generator within the period of 1 month from the date of approval of building plan. Keep track of the generation of C&D waste within its jurisdiction, and devise appropriate measure in consultation with expert institution for management of C&D waste. These expert institutions could be academic institutes also, or whomever are using or recycling the such kind of C&D waste, and create a sustained system for information, education and communication for C&D waste through the collaboration with expert institute, and provision for giving incentives for the use of material made by C&D waste in construction activity. This is one of the important point. They can start the different awareness, and also they can start some kind of incentives. Whatever waste you are generating, if you are able to reuse in your own construction, or for the construction material, if for new construction, if any particular construction industry are using recycled material, for their new construction. So, obviously, you pay some kind of incentives to them, so that the maximum amount of waste will get utilized. Now, the management of C&D waste through sustainable solutions, how the sustainable solutions could be possible, like from proper storage, collection, transportation, disposal, and special is a processing. If you do proper processing, assessing potential for reuse and recycle, and propose reuse and recycle of processed C&D waste, again is not only the utilization of that recycled material, that is also the important part, and finally the environmental considerations. So, this will be a major or proper sustainability solution for the management of C&D waste. So, we will go one by one. We will start with the storage, collection, transportation. There should be a proper land should be allotted by the state government of setting up for storage, processing and recycling facility, and handed over to the local competent authority for development, operation and maintenance. And the local authorities plus Department of Urban Development of the state provide necessary clearance for operation. So, suppose one particular location we will finalize where we can have the proper storage or processing or disposal of C&D waste. So, this design should be 20 to 25 years properly you design, and far from the landfill site, far from the forest, far from the water bodies, or far from the clusters or habitations. You can locate such kind of, which should not be close to the water body, should not be close to the forest, and should not be close to the habitations. And see that the nearby area there should not be a development. Go for proper fencing, proper approach road, weighing bridge, so that how much amount of waste is entering into those facilities, and provide the proper facility like water, sanitation and hygiene facilities. See that the storm water drains to prevent into that particular area, and also to provide monitoring of ambient air quality at the vicinity, and go for proper plantations in the nearby area. Okay. So, this was the complete thought about complete facility of storage, collection and processing, and even disposal facilities or landfilling facility in this particular area. So, what is the role of ULBs here? Now, it has been notified. This is for specially this role is explained for the small municipalities under 1 lakh population, the small habitations, where it has been notified that the entire city has been segregated in 5 zones: north, south, east, west and central, where waste less than 1 metric ton can be deposited, and construct enclosure to each location or place a tractor or trolley for the storage. So, all 5 locations. So, closed tractor or trolley you provide into those locations, and MSW these kind of waste should not be disposed into MSW bin. Okay. Remember that, and try whatever is waste is getting stored, try reuse recycling, if not can go for landfilling. And now for the city above 1 lakh population. So, it has been notified that the location where waste less than 1 metric ton is generated, so that the waste can be deposited, and some of the location is waste could be stored more than 1 metric tons. Should find out and notify the prescribed rates, and again the no MSW storage, and provide the proper transportation facilities like the small 4.5 cubic meter and 10 cubic meter in the case of waste storage more than 1 metric ton, and also reuse, recycle and go for finally landfilling. So, and also had been asked no deposition in the drain, and so the whatever the demolition waste go for segregation and loading and to put it into the designated site, and whatever charge will be required for volume generator, ask them to pay for those charges. Now, the processing of construction and demolition waste, what benefits we can get it? The C&D waste can be put to can be used in the case of sand, stone for the construction, can be easily reusable. Also, it will prevent the public nuisance or traffic congestion because of storing of waste to very close to their construction facility, which will obviously save the valuable space at landfill site if you are going for reusing of the such kind of material, and finally reduce cost of bulk transportation or recycling. If that kind of waste is getting generated or getting reused in the generation facility itself. So, now reuse and recycling potentials, like I had come up with around 12 to 14 different waste and their end use also. Now, first you take the demolition waste, that can be end use, could be a recycle aggregates like construction waste, end use could be again the recycler aggregates. This is reinforced concrete waste, end use could be a recycled concrete aggregate for recycling. Clay bricks and roof tiles, end use could be reused for masonry aggregates or mixed with lime to produce mortar. Calcium silicate bricks also could be reused for masonry, or can be another brick also we can prepare of that. Natural sand natural stone masonry, that also you can reuse for same for masonry and aggregate. Like aluminum is a recyclable matter, steel, all steel components are recyclable, new steel components we can create from the aluminum also. Like mixed demolition waste, that can be used for the as an fill material. Like asphalt paving also can be used for road construction, and ceramic tiles that can be used for flooring and for aggregate production also can be used. Natural stone slabs also can be used for flooring or aggregate productions. Like timber beams, doors can be reused as in beam or door if it is not hazardous. Timber boards also can be used for shuttering or other engineering wood we can create of that. The plastic that is recycled completely, and even the gypsum plaster board, that can be also end use is very good. Glass is completely recyclable one. So, and also that use of construction demolition waste for road works is a very popular. So, there is one report is submitted by Central Road Research Institute CRRI in Delhi. It is possible to use the construction demolition waste for road and embankment construction. So, like for subgrade construction, subbase construction, even for rigid pavement also could be possible to utilize. So, means I think I had come up with 17 different waste materials could be easily can be recyclable and also could be utilizable for the another purposes. So, Government of National Capital Territory Delhi has recorded exemption of VAT also for tiles and curbstone made from the CND waste or malba. This is the in Hindi we call as a malba. So, they won't ask the VAT for that. So, this is also good bylaw from the local authorities. Now, the proposed use of process CND waste primarily mix aggregates or recycle aggregates as well as recycled concrete aggregates like this is the demolition concrete block can come up with the recycled coarse aggregate and even for fine aggregates and can be used for suppose this won't be a possible to use the other material we can use this kind of material very easily. So, like fine washed aggregate in range of 4.75 mm to 0.075 mm can be utilized for the other construction purpose. So, again these kind of coarse aggregates and fine aggregates can for purpose is the purpose to making concrete for non-structural purpose. Also ore grades of PCC could be made out of these aggregates. Percentage replacement of aggregates around 20% we can replace by these kind of aggregates and also we can make paving blocks or concrete blocks or bricks also we can use of such kind of coarse and fine aggregates. And here also you can see that can be used for different purposes the use of processed material like for drainage layer in the leachate collection system, even for daily cover we can utilize for civil construction in a sanitary landfill also we can use. And if you see the compliance criteria from the local authorities like the city and the monitoring also will be done by State Pollution Control Board and this under the construction demolition waste management rule to 2016. This was the timeline is given for the each city of different population to come up with particular policy, identified sites for the collection and processing and the commissioning of those facilities like for 12 months and 18 months. Even for the larger population 36 months they have to come up with the particular facilities. Now, last is the environmental considerations. So, the major issue is a because of this construction material the lot of dust is getting generated and lot of noise is also getting generated in the construction facilities. So, this was another thought is given in the CPHO manual like whatever activities in the construction site like site clearing, site operation or transporting materials or sorting of CND waste. So, what could be the potential uses? The major potential potential use of or potential problems of those activities like dust and noise, odor, these are the major and lot of health issues are also the well aware about the whatever the potential problems of all the activities. And ambient air quality has to be properly monitored, especially for suspended particulate matters and PM 2.5 and PM 10. This monitoring has to be do in that particular local construction site. So, suppose in the city there is a new construction facilities are coming up. So, proper monitoring stations has to be provided by the state pollution control board, and also they have to follow the particular acceptability level of suspended particulate matters in PM10 and PM2.5. So, proper schedule has to be carried out by the local authority and also state pollution control board, like 6 times in a year for cities having population of more than 5 million, 4 times in a year for cities having population between 1 million to 5 million, and 2 times in a year for town or cities having population between 1 lakh and 10 lakhs or 1 million, and also once in a year for all towns having the population below 1 lakh. So, likewise they have to monitor, and for noise level also one noise standard recommended by Central Pollution Control Board and notified the Environmental Rule 1986 for the industrial area shall be applicable. Okay. That also time to time need to be checked. Okay. And also the recycling, wherever the recycling facility is provided, the recycling carried out, that should be completed within the 5 years. Minimum 80% of C&D waste generated at the site is recycled and reused within the same site, and also provide the buffer area to store the waste. So, if you find few new examples, example for India, like first pilot project of construction demolition waste management was in the Burari, is a Jahangir Puri, New Delhi. So, that was a one PPP project along with the one private company named as an ILFS. So, that was a PPP projects, and that was concession agreement signed for 10 years. So, the idea was to setting up a processing unit, okay, under the North Delhi Municipal Corporation. So, what was their idea to process flow? So, incoming waste will be weighted first, and undesirable items like rags, plastic, metal, fiber is getting segregated by mechanical and manual means, and whatever is the remained waste is again segregated into 3 parts: the whole brick, large concrete and mixed C&D waste. So, likewise you will see here 3 different segregated material, and the process technology was screen to remove the loose soil and grit, oversized material, and whatever the materials should get crushed properly and get screened under the dry process. In the wet process, the log washer and followed by multi-layered screen and again wash, and finally we can come up with filter press, and proper product will come up. You can see here, this is the one product they had come up with, the brick from the C&D waste. So, these used for making roads, sub-base, granular sub-base, and making pavement block and precast product like curbstone, paver block and square tiles in the city area. So, that was one of the very good project. So, all the C&D waste is getting converted into the brick, having the dry process followed by wet process, and come up with the very good product and can be utilized for the other infrastructure facilities. And loose soil separated by that get sold, and manufactured sand is used for making ready mix concrete for non-structural applications, and in order to test the application of recovered that particular plant, the road within the plants as well as the access road to the plant about 150 meter were made from the recycled C&D waste. So, I think that was the good idea from these particular PPP projects. They constructed their own facilities from recycled C&D waste, so that they can propose to the other construction company to utilize this particular material. So, another example is a in situ recycling of C&D waste at development site by National Building Construction Corporation NBCC, that was placed in East Gandhinagar, New Delhi. So, earlier there was a one old residential colony of 2500 dwelling units that is getting demolished, and after demolition they got waste bricks. Bricks got crushed and grounded again, and whatever the product they come up, the new brick they come up, that is sun dried for 4 weeks and used for new building. So, this was the actually developed by the same material. So, that this was the very good project where the entire demolition waste is getting collected, crushed and made it another product, and from that another construction facility has been created. So, avoided the need of transportation of C&D waste, resulting in substantial saving in transportation cost, because the location was same. So, even the recycling facility also created in the same location. So, the waste was same location, recycling facility was same location, and new construction location also was the same. So, there was no transportation cost. So, the minimize the environmental degradation and saved the scarce land resource, which is also increasing getting difficult to procure. So, here we saw that the quantity is very large, even the storage, handling and transportation is somewhat difficult, but now we saw the 2 case studies in Delhi where the same demolition waste has been utilized for the new construction facilities. So, similar way, and it is not only for the building construction only we can use, for road construction you will be required different kind of base materials, and sometimes these base material do not require that kind of compressive strength, like the brick also has been constructed, those bricks, like whatever bricks are required for the building construction, that compressive strengths are different, and for road construction different compressive strengths are required. So, whatever the product will come up, that can be used for the different construction facilities. I believe that the 100% of this C&D waste should be utilized. The only problem is that the small towns, especially the towns where population less than 1 lakh or less than 1 million, they do not have that kind of facility, because getting space in the city area for the storage and recycling, that itself is a difficult task. Now, but because that rule has been come up in 2016. So, likewise in the Swachh Bharat mission, I think most of the city are trying to follow the waste management facilities or proper management of the solid waste. Similar way, these kind of urban locations also has to be come up with particular kind of policy and the facility to provide to the developing construction industries, so that these industries also can be benefited for their construction cost by reutilizing or reusing of similar kind of recycled material. So, thank you for today's lecture.